crypto asset? Which one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best? 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 What's the second best? There is no second best.
Bitcoin's having a mass casualty event right now. Eric Trump nailed it when he said that Q4 is going to be unbelievable for crypto as McDonald's is seeing a record surge in job applications. We are back at it again every day for you live here on Discover Crypto, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Welcome to the show. Make sure to smash that like button. We're going to take a look at, is it actually over? Am I now seeing the validation to begin shorting the market into oblivion, earning cheaper Bitcoin with Tether? And it might truly be over because ICP is pumping. According to the chat, good morning, good afternoon, chat. What up, Crypto Crank, Jay Mizzle, Lasso, Darth Mike, Kenny Crawford, Sear, everyone out here, Little Simon, David Middleton, what is up? And now I got my illustrious co-host on the show, the host with the most, Kelly Kellum. How the hell are you feeling today, buddy?
Well, you know, I'm starting to feel a little bruised and battered here. I'm still bullish at some point, next year.
Next year, okay.
I think we got some efforts that we got some challenges ahead of us. But I will say, guys, I know we're gonna be diving into this, but we are kind of dipping our little toes right into this gap that some people, it wasn't going to happen. Well, here we are. This gap goes all the way back here until April 22nd, and we're just dipping our toes into it right now. So if any sort of bullishness is going to happen, I do think this needs to clear. We do have a bullish divergence that's been setting up into this all the way since October 15th. But you know what? We can't be blind bulls. We can't just, as bullish as I am on the context, it looks like there's the risk off scenario is permeating into investors. So as bullish as the setup could be to come, I think right now is a little bit of a, chop solidation, chop the legs off the tourist sort of time frame.
A lot of split decisions here. Some say it's easy money. Others say their wife is going to kill them. That guy is in danger. Let's crack a cold one. Oh, that was a good crack. Look at this. Yerba mate, let's take a look at the rundown here and see what we got. Make sure that you do follow me here on X at Druth Crypto. I did release the interview with Enrique Tarrio. So if you want to get spicy on the timeline, go check out this interview. I released it over the weekend. Absolutely incredible time that me and Enrique had sitting down and really getting a deep dive. This is the first person to be pardoned by Trump. He spent a very, very long time in prison for what he was accused of. So I do implore you to go check that out. Now let's take a look at the charts. Oh, not looking great here, Kelly. So you mentioned we're touching into the CME gap. On the spot price, we're at 92.2, and then the CME is coming in at 92.8 right now. We put our little tip in here. Okay, just a tip. As so far in the CME gap. Now the CME gap for my accounts, what I'm looking at, the CME gap goes down to 91.9. Kelly, in terms of what you see on CME, what are you looking at there? Just to do some cross checking to make sure that we're looking at the right range here.
Yeah, I mean it kind of looks it looks like it's there you go. It looks like this box perfectly outlines where it goes to. So this would be right about 91.7. But yeah, into this zone. We want to flush this out. Currently, it's just a tip. We want just this. We want the full shaft. We want to fully want to exonerate this area. But I do want to remind everybody, as troublesome as this feels, if we zoom out, when in doubt, zoom out. And what do we see, guys? The price. Okay, yes, these are big ranges. If this was a 4-hour chart, this would just look like a big ass range. It wouldn't look like, a potential end, the top. You just look at this as a range. We've been traveling sideways for basically a year, 360 days since basically 99,000 all the way across to where we're at right now. And if you look at it that way, the price has deviated down, has deviated up, and we're literally right here at this equilibrium of this entire range. This is that lower deviation target of where this previous range high, these previous range lows were over in here. But if the price were to come down, maybe bounce on 88 and then fall through, I think we got a lot. I'm talking, it'll probably be a quarter-ish to really resolve out of this. But as it stands right now, even as we are, even though I'm kind of bullish into 2026, and I'll put this picture back up, I'm starting to get a little bruised up because it's not looking good in the near term. Even if we got a bounce here, guys, we would need even all the way up to $107,000. People would start getting very excited, but that's a very reasonable rejection zone if the bulls can't get through the zone. What we'd really want to see is the price maybe temporarily get rejected, but break through this, find support above it, and then move, which is as it stands right now, we're kind of living in the danger zone.
It's true, but if you ain't risking it for the biscuit, you ain't winning no biscuits. And this is where I'm looking at it. So I feel like if we lose 88.8, my mindset switches to an aggregate short likelihood. Now, where I did make the most money this cycle was actually leverage trading from $76,000 all the way on up to these recent highs. So I'm kind of excited and interested to see if this is a simple bump and run situation, or if we do lose this doorway and then head back down here. So that's kind of where my mindset's at. And then where I'm planning to back up the truck if the 4-year cycle does indeed grip us by the nads and take us all the way back down is essentially $69,000. This is the zone where I'm calling all my family. This is the zone where I'm calling everyone that's been calling me an idiot since Bitcoin was $4,000 and telling them that I am indeed buying very, very heavily as I can in spot at this green zone, $68,000 essentially. So that's where my mindset's at for the general bull market. I know there's a lot of pain out here. Let's go look at CoinMarketCap.
Hold on one second though, because we are at a critical juncture, and it's in these moments that most people make the wrong decision. Even if you're looking to get out, today's not the day to get out. And I want to show something here as to why. This chart that I've been talking about with the price coming into the gift from God buy zone, ignore all that. In fact, let's go to a cleaner chart, because this is quite important. When you look at these levels, we'll draw a trend line from here all the way up and across. I want you to notice we're kind of sitting right at that zone. So we're on a major trend level. We also have the highest level of fear in the market that we've had, these zones that we've been in, that we've had this entire bull run. So even if the bull market's over, even if it's over, you don't sell on this portion. You don't sell on this portion. You wait for a bounce and weakness in that bounce and exit there, not here. That's a $34,000 versus $47,000 difference. So that's, basically a $14,000 difference, which at that time was about a 30% difference. In this case, if we were to bounce up into 105, 118, and then see a lot of weakness, yeah, get out. But as it stands right now, you don't sell in the most fearful part of the market when price is sitting on a bounceable range that could very likely be coming in the very near term.
Yeah. It's surrounded by people that are very sure of themselves that the market's over and that they were able to call the top. And these are people that, influencers that historically have been very incorrect consistently from my viewpoint. And I've never seen the consensus perfectly call the top of Bitcoin. So that's my mindset right now. People think they got it all figured out, right? The most pain that we see is within this altcoin sector. Pump Fund down 14%, 34 on the week. Whatever this Decred thing is, I think this is kind of a newer project. Starknet down 13%. Dash, Canton down to 10 cents. I'm really not too down. I bought it at like 12 cents, so I'm fine with that. I'm actually Canton. They don't care about our stupid 4-year cycle. They don't care about our crypto stuff. It's a completely different playing field that Canton is on. Morpho finally got the message to take a pullback here. So Morpho's down to $1.80. It was sitting here just like flat through the last week. Actually, a decent pullback. I think what my mindset's at is, can these projects last in the next cycle into 2026? And so I've consolidated down the portfolio to things like that. So Morpho, Aerodrome, Chainlink are still at the top of my list of conviction. I know I like this Linnea project. Added in Canton as well. And then Solana staking mechanisms and Solana. So Marinade, Solana, Jito, and Camino Finance. This is where my mind's at right now. Can these projects last? Do they have revenue? Do they have longevity out there? That's what I'm looking at for altcoins. Now, where liquidation lives is something we got to see as well. Bam, slight little swipe here at the bottom end of that CME gap range at 91.9. And then a bunch of shorts piling in that'll get hurt if it hits 93.8. Just good to know. But let's look into all the news here. McDonald's is seeing a record surge in job applications. This is huge. Crypto market, they say it's in free fall. Honestly, tis but a scratch in my opinion. But the shout out to Eric Trump for the incredible call.
This is unbelievable.
It's truly unbelievable. It's truly unbelievable for Bitcoin and crypto. It's all at a time frame where, you know, there's reason to be concerned because we see really big things that were posted this weekend that really didn't affect the price at all. China and the US still around the time frame. They're waiting to get that final agreement on rare earth deals. But this is actually looking like it's coming within this week, potentially next week, a larger China-US trade negotiation deal. And Bitcoin ETFs, seeing a little bit of an outflow. We have 8,000 leaving the hands. Net flow is negative. Now, BlackRock outflows are 4,800. They now sit on 790,000 Bitcoin within the IBIT Bitcoin ETF. And Ethereum did see an outflow as well. Not as large, but this is actually setting up. We'll get to the altcoin section, but I'm actually seeing something a little bit hopeful on the Bitcoin dominance. Just because it could be worse doesn't mean it shouldn't be better. What a quote right there.
Right. That's the quote. And that
Fantastic.
brings me to this. And all of the darkness and all of the fear. Remember, why the hell is Kelly talking about a bullish 2026? Even we could still rally to 140, 150, 160 this year. It's looking a lot less likely. But what we're seeing is this: whatever form the stimulus checks come in, whether it's tax rebates or actual checks out, let's actually just ignore that, okay? Japan preparing $110 billion stimulus. China has improved a massive, over $1 trillion stimulus. The Fed is ending QT. The U.S. is issuing about almost $2 trillion in treasuries per year. Canada restarted quantitative easing. This is the liquidity conditions that would lead to massive bullishness in risk markets. So while we're seeing the downturn and we see peak fear entering the charts right now, and then we remember, we've never gotten the bull run. This chart shows we never got the bull run. What is this? The green shaded area down here is when it's an asymmetric bullish buy opportunity, and it starts to get frothy once you exit it. And basically it kind of tops out once the price gets on the upper bound here, especially into the red. This whole bull run, and I've made different cases about this with different metrics. The entire bull run, we've never even exited. This is a great buy opportunity zone. So,
and you can feel it in the chat. I mean, the people they've been consistently aggravated this whole damn time. You know what I mean? And I get it. You know, I'm on here on TV and you want me to cover your projects and you want me to show them. I am kind of a jerk about that. And I don't necessarily do that quite a bit because I feel very isolationist about the altcoin sector. And there's a reason why I have stuck to Aerodrome, Morpho, and Chainlink as the larger portions of my bag. There's a reason why, is because a lot of these other projects, they will go to zero or damn near zero. So I am very selective about those things. ICP pumping again. That is absolutely crazy. We got to look at what's pumping here. Monero, Bitcoin Cash, Filecoin is up. Okay. Let's actually look at Filecoin. Look at this. Oh, Lord.
The coolest thing about Filecoin is they developed the IPFS. I think that's what it's called, Interplanetary File Sharing System.
Yeah. I mean,
it's like, okay, you guys are planning for 60 years from now, but
let's crawl before we walk, right? Let's crawl before we walk and maybe just get integration here on planet Earth first, potentially. What are we at on Bitcoin here? Are you showing? Oh yeah, we are dipping into this right now. dipping into the CME gap. So, okay.
Let me see if I can blow it up.
You're going to blow. Unlikely, Kelly. Unlikely. Yeah, I mean, Filecoin, sure. It's like pumping, 10% today. The overall chart looks very, very, very painful. So, this looks nothing like the 2021 blow off top. This thing hit $240. It is now sitting at $2.09. Those are not the 100x moves that you want to see. That is going in the opposite direction. Matt Mena, great account that I follow, knows things. Crazy seeing the Bitcoin CME gap at 92, almost filled with sentiment still at fear and greed levels we last saw during the FTX crash of 1014. Bitcoin climbing a wall of worry. Extreme fear in the late in the cycle is bullish. Set up for a strong end of year Q4 recovery towards $110,000. Matt is quite an intelligent person that's plugged into Wall Street and knows what's going on with the ETF flows. This is what I wanted your opinion on, Kelly. The short-term holders, the supply in loss metric hitting the highest levels since the FTX crash. So a lot of short-term holders are in an extreme pain. Kelly, this is totally your wheelhouse. What do you make of this metric that you're seeing right now on STH?
Well, I mean, this is another way to look at that. And you can see this is the lowest level it's been. This is FTX. Look at how high this was. Like, can you see you can see my mouse. So right here, this is deeper than loss than we saw during FTX. This is, in fact, the deepest it's been, I think, on this entire chart, meaning the largest number of short-term holders are holding at a loss. And as On-Chain College says, by the way, go give him a follow if you haven't yet. He's got great content he puts out on a daily basis at On-Chain College. But he says, and I love this, he said, a seasoned Bitcoin veteran can feel this bullish during a time when everyone is so bearish, because everybody is so bearish right now. I may be both, but I'm thoroughly enjoying how the metrics have been playing out over this year. And everyone right now is bearish, which, it goes back into what you're seeing here with the fear. But this is essentially showing us that so many people are underwater. I do think this also is a bit bearish in one sense. If so many people are underwater, where's my chart at? If so many people are underwater here, where are we at? I lost my chart.
Looking for a Bitcoin chart?
No.
Where are we looking here?
Here we go. We have to watch out that because all these short-term holders are underwater, when this gets back up into that short-term holder average price level, there could be a pretty big exit, which does sort of set up either a lot of chop, rejection that we do take a deeper dip down. So while we do see this as a decent sort of bounce level, it doesn't mean bounce means new all-time high. It means bounce and then caution when we get to some certain levels. But I will say there has been some changing of what we're seeing in the wallet cohorts. Every one of these bands you can see here on the left, 1 Bitcoin, 1 to 10 Bitcoin, 100 to 1,000, 1,000 to 10,000, and above 10,000. This top one being wallets above 10,000. So what we're seeing here, whale distribution has started to slow. This is good for the first time since August. This means the whales, this big rotation we've seen from OG players that have been selling, it's starting to slow right now. And in fact, the crazy thing is going all the way through October. Look at this. This 100 to 1,000 has been blue. They've just been stacking like a mofo. The bluer this is, that means they're accumulating. The redder it is, that means they're selling. And we are seeing sort of mixed bag of these 100 to 1,000 Bitcoin, and also the baby shrimps down here, the plankton, very small wallets also stacking. But we're seeing the red go from deep red down into yellow, meaning we're seeing maybe it's coming to an end, all these OGs that are rotating out. But we also just saw Michael Saylor buy 8,000 Bitcoin only days after everybody said he's selling. And obviously he wasn't selling. He also made the biggest purchase he'd made in quite a while.
Absolutely. And there's things happening in the background with liquidity in the Fed. The New York Fed had to have an emergency meeting on Wall Street. Basically, the banks have to discuss the money market liquidity concerns that they're having right now. This is something that's connected to the Bank Term Funding Program and the unrealized losses that these banks currently sit on. So in the background, they're setting up an emergency line of credit and liquidity injection for the banking infrastructure so it doesn't go down. And we had the Japan 10-year government bond yield surge to the highest level since the 2008 crisis on talks of another $110 billion in stimulus package. And it looks like Kelly's getting stimulated right below me here. I mean, don't be concerned. How's the dog doing though? I mean, she's a cutie.
Sometimes you just need, it's not just charts and profits and losses. Sometimes it's just the love of a fine animal. I call this my burnt little chicken nugget.
Okay. So this basically is another highlight that there is a liquidity crisis going on right now. There's not a cuddle crisis. This is also interesting. You know these guys pretty well. Cardone Capital, they bought nearly 1,000 Bitcoin for a Boca Bitcoin project. It's a one-on-one Misner Boca Bitcoin project with plans to continue accumulating from free cash flow. This is kind of that concept. I mean, Michael Saylor was talking to the Cardones this weekend, and he's like, we don't give a damn about your 4-year cycle. We don't care. It's a time frame where the old guard of how we trade crypto going in and out of the positions according to the 4-year cycle is being tested by new larger bags. Who wins is still be determined, and by all means Binance could step in and ensure that a 4-year cycle continues to play out, but it's a time frame where different players are at the table, and I have to take that into account. This is kind of insane too. Trump Organization and DAR Global are tokenizing the Trump International Hotel in Maldives. This is
Maldives
or Maldives?
The Maldives. It's not.
Why do I have to call it Maldives? I'm from Colorado. It's Maldives. This is something we covered on the show last week. Think about it.
The Maldives. Was it Beavis?
I'm saying Maldives. Okay, it's just the way it's happening. If you are a massive organization, your assets are not liquid, and then you tokenize them, then you open up that liquidity for your assets, right? So the idea of bringing real world assets on chain looks very, very strong to me, and it doesn't seem like it's something they're not going to do. I also saw a post from the SEC chair, Paul Atkins, that I found very interesting. We are not the Securities and Everything Commission, right? And he's kind of clarifying this within the rules and regulations. Really setting up Paul Atkins to allow just the general tokenization of markets. Maldingus. Okay. You know what?
You are banned.
You go. Hold on. There you go, Dylan. I'm going to get you.
Where's your dream vacation? I'm going to take my wife to the Maldives.
I'm taking her to Maldives. God dang it. You know, I'm from Colorado. It's just the way that I am.
Phonetics work there too, bro.
No, they do not. It's Margajita. It's mountain. Okay. We pronounce things differently. Now, this is Dan, friend of the channel, down immensely, it seems, on altcoins. He's constantly yelling about altcoins. Nothing makes sense anymore. M2 money supply doesn't line up. Total value locks are false hope. And now Bitcoin dominance. It's going down, and so are the alts. How the F do you explain all of this? Now, the M2 money supply breaking away from Bitcoin's price correlation is quite confounded. I really haven't seen money make its way down to the base level of retail. I have only seen liquidity injections into banks. I've only seen liquidity injections into, generalized money market structure, not investors. Kelly, do you have any opinion on what the hell is going on with the M2 compared to the Bitcoin price action? Because that was a chart that was moving in tandem along with the Bitcoin price for a really long time, and it's recently broken down. What do you think of this situation?
Well, I tend to look at this basically global liquidity chart. I can turn off this. This is basically the moving average of it over the last 1 year change. So you can see that these changes coming in more aggressively. But notice here, if you look at the global liquidity, which includes all of these, European Central Bank, People's Bank of China, Bank of Japan, Bank of England, basically all the banks, you see that this kind of peaked a little while ago, right about when we peaked as well, and has been pulling back a little bit. But again, I don't know where it is, but going back to this right here, we've got all the things on schedule that have been telegraphed to the world that more money is coming to the system. So while we do see this softening at the moment, and we also see this is that rate of change, it's not really making moves yet. We'd like to see this break above this range here and start really going up, or just see this blue wave go up. But I think people are just being too impatient right now, which is why everybody feels like this. Like, I thought it was supposed to be bullish, man, and you keep just chapping my hide. But the truth is, it's just a patience game, because you said it. We are breaking the shackles of the roadmap that everybody thought was absolute. Market makers are taking advantage of retail because they know retail is planning on these certain trajectories of price action and whatnot.
Right.
They can lock liquidity, they can move liquidity, they can change how much sell walls and buy walls are in there. And I think it's the biggest psyop in crypto we've had so far, because then you have people like Gary Cardone and Michael Saylor, and the list is 1,000 long now of these major players that they don't give an absolute 1F about this 4-year cycle nonsense. It drops to 108, they buy. It drops to 99, they buy. It drops to 93, they buy. They're not going, why did it drop more? They go, oh, I get to buy some more. We need to take on that methodology and be a little bit more patient.
Yeah, I mean, it's either BlackRock and Larry Fink screwed up immensely and they didn't have the right research in place to protect their bag. Let's actually pull this up. Yeah, we're pulling back into the CME gap here, Kelly. So how much further do we got to go here? Let's take a gander at this.
Well, the gap goes back to this date right here, which is April 22nd. This is where that gap goes back to. And we are a couple of things that are bullish about this, actually. One, on the way down, it's like, okay, maybe we can tap this and flip. I'm not going to say it's going to happen, but you do see on the 12-hour, there's pretty big bearish divergence with these much lower lows coming in. And all the way since back here on October 15th, October 16th, this has set up a pretty large bullish divergence here. So at minimum, I'm not saying we're going to new highs from this bull div, but at some point we're going to either need to test up here to right at 100,000, which is also happens to be these previous range lows, or work its way all the way up in here into this 107 to 110,000 and then reject potentially. But as it stands right now, we look like we're getting into a territory that could see that reversal, at least in the near term.
And you know what? I got a pretty exciting chart. Something that sparks joy. And this guy is super cool. We hung out with him in Nashville, I think it was. Ooh, we got the dog cam. Finally, we get to see her. There she is. Good girl. This is the chart that I like to see to bring some hope and some happiness into the altcoin sector here. Matthew Hyland's talking about dominance breaking bearish out of the weekly rising wedge. And now the general plan for this was a head and shoulders where we would see dominance start to round off in this right shoulder and move down into the 50% zone, 55% being that first spot where I could see a bounce. And on the weekly, Lord love a duck, in the words of Piano Matty B, we are seeing a little bit of a pullback, a little bit of break of bullishness on Bitcoin dominance. But I will very much so warn, I still feel like this altcoin season is going to be very selective. Hence why I have pared down my projects into things that produce revenue, that have long-term outlooks, that I can assume and ascertain are going to exist for years on end, not these quick fly-by-the-night projects. I'm not FOMOing into them. You're not going to convince me to do so, because I want projects that are getting value. Now, Solana ETFs ended last week with $12 million in inflows on Friday, marking 13 straight days of inflows on their launch. We're going to get the data at the end of today if those inflows have continued, but Solana has come out of the gates swinging hard on those ETFs. And Aerodrome rolling out a advertisement for Q2 2026. Let's actually just check this out real quick here. Unmute this. I don't know if I want the music. Who knows? We're going to get a little strike from this thing. But Aerodrome talking about rolling out one engine, connecting many, many different chains together. Focal point being Ethereum. And this is a concept that me and BJ, everyone thought we were crazy 2 years ago, saying Coinbase is going to find a way to capture Ethereum, and they have done it with Base Network. You can roll transactions very, very cheaply. And a lot of these transactions and swaps happen on Aerodrome. Hence why I think Aerodrome is a altcoin with very, very long-term outlook. And it makes me happy to continue buying. If Aerodrome does, I will say this. If I see Aerodrome at 50 cents again, I'll buy again. I only buy Aerodrome at 50 cents. The original buys were at 18 cents. I don't feel like top blasting charts. I never did. I love the project. I have a bag from it, and the bag is actually climbed up in terms of ranking in my portfolio because I only buy at extreme lows. Right now, it's 70 some odd cents. If I do see a flash crash on Aerodrome down into the 50-cent mark, I will indeed be adding more, but that's just me. You do you, boo. Now, this absolutely terrible advice. Follis, you sent me a Follis tweet, I think, this weekend, too. Follis is hilarious. Great trader, and he's got some great advice. Never sell is terrible advice. I completely agree with this. How are you ever going to make money if you never take profit, right? Either take profit incrementally on the way up, as you've seen me do. People mock me as I do it, but who's laughing now? Or close once the higher time frame structure shifts against you. Do not round trip everything and spend the rest of your life wondering at what could have been. Now, I understand some people, they want to hold on to projects because they feel like they'll be left out of a community if you're not holding HBAR, if you're not holding XRP. If you bought it very, very low and it skyrockets to a price 10x, 5x, whatever it may be, I take the profits. I leave moonbags behind. Sure, absolutely. But you know what? No altcoin community is going to be there to take care of you once the music stops. And right now, the music isn't even playing. Jeeting altcoins right now makes very, very little sense to me. We have not had any blow off top. We have not had any sort of euphoric moment, and really even Bitcoin or altcoins. So that all being said, please use some discernment. Please do not top blast charts. This, God, I can't get over this Litecoin or this Filecoin chart. It's pumping today, but there's some people that bought this thing at $150, $200. They are a long way from the top, and they want
150 to 2. Man,
yeah,
that's
absolutely.
like what's that that thing from Love Island? You too can go on a Jet U holiday.
A Jet 2 holiday. This is horrible. Like, yeah. So, and you can really, this is a quick way to do things. Filecoin hasn't fallen very sick from token inflation. It's basically just being forgotten about, which is crazy to think about, but this stuff happens, right? You develop technology, you have it pump on the right time frame of release, and then the music stops playing. Let's actually go swimming around the other altcoins and see if there's anything I actually feel like buying. I might add a little bit of Canton at these levels. Morpho, Aerodrome. Like, I like Morpho, Aerodrome. I like Canton. Zcash, if I see a decent Zcash. What's that?
Isn't the majority of your portfolio in MYX?
Oh, yeah. I full ported into MYX. This thing's a scam. So if you're out there buying this thing with some sort of long-term outlook, there is no helping you. I've tried to say this over and over again. I got out of Ondo at $1. Technology is likely being stolen by Wall Street to tokenize things themselves. Terrible chart. Looks like a Head and Shoulders where you're actually going to owe money for holding Ondo at this point. I mean, this is
Can your stock portfolio go negative?
Yeah, so if you hold this thing, you might owe like 50 cents a token at this rate. Let's see. Let's just have some fun with it. Okay. You're going to owe 71 cents per token if you continue holding this thing. How's that sound for you? I'm sorry to be an asshole, but I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I am not going to fall into the camp of being a maximalist of any token. I am a maximalist of Bitcoin. What's that?
Deucey's in a 50x long right now. I don't think we need to see you. Your portfolio is going to see you with it.
Yeah, my long from this morning got stopped out. It got stopped out for like 10%. It is what it is. I'm preserving capital. I'm seeing if we do continue to rip through this CME gap, how low do we go? And then do I flip my thesis bearish, right? That is where I'm at right now. Real PG thinks he's dead. Chat, is he dead? Dylan's in a 25x long, talking about a bounce. You guys are, I mean, but you got to risk it for the biscuit. You got to risk it for the biscuit. Just use discernment. Don't blow out your whole account. Jesus, Jesus. This, I don't know how much we should cover on this channel. How far through that CME gap are we now, Kelly? Are we,
we're about halfway through it, almost perfectly halfway.
All right, let's check it out.
We would have, let me see, we would have another $400 to go.
Oh, so you're counting the actual body of this candle. That makes sense. Yeah. It's going. It's cooking through it right now. Liquidity. Let's go hop on over here. Bam. Oh, shit. Downside liquidity's been eaten. Downside liquidity's been eaten.
Well, you know what's so great about those liquidity charts?
What's that?
When you look at the larger setup,
Mm-hmm.
all the liquidity is above us.
True. Very much so. Very, very much so. God, I don't know if I want to cover this next story. This is a dark one. This is a dark one. It's kind of a dark day, though. It's kind of a dark day.
Oh,
okay.
Oh my God.
Did you know what I'm talking about, Kelly?
Yeah, you hit that. I'm going to walk the dog.
So this kind of weird MIT professors of electrical engineering spending some time with Mr. Jeffrey E, right? Little Brock P spending time with Jeffrey E. I can't say their full names or we'll get demonetized, but there's some serious overlap between these Mr. Jeffrey E emails revealing cryptocurrency entrepreneur Brock P, co-founder of stablecoin issuer Tether, discussing Bitcoin with former U.S. Secretary of Treasury Larry Summers at Jeffrey E.'s Manhattan townhouse. Things are kind of getting a little bit weird as more and more information about this is found out. This is terrifying. This is a surveillance system being rolled out in China. I don't really need to get into this. This is why cold custody of Bitcoin is king. And a little bit of a culture highlight. Mexico is going into civil unrest right now. The youth are uprising and it's going to get kind of iffy down there in Mexico. This is why I have like a nice balance of preparedness, right? Making sure you can physically defend your family here because the world it's feeling pretty spicy. It's not just the crypto chat. I mean, I know that there's a lot of spiciness in the crypto chat, but on a very real, visceral level, civil unrest is starting to boil up in ways that we expected to see, but it is unfortunate to see at the same time. And this is why having a balance of, in real life, hard iron goods, brass, as well as Bitcoin on cold custody, has proven to be a way to go in this world. Oh no, what is happening to Ducey? Ducey's literally never taken profits. Apparently he's a philanthropy business. Oh God. Oh, is Ondo Gondo? Is that the new word for Ondo? Is Gondo? Is that where we're going with this? I mean, this is not a good chart. This is a problematic chart. And I was just thinking about it at a buck. I was like, we've hit our head on this damn level so many times. I took the final escape pump candle on this weekly. Thank God I did. I mean, what is this? What is this? This was like the fourth biggest holding at a point in my altcoin portfolio. And it is down by 50% from that level. Jeez Louise. Yeah, I have a thesis about this. Now, granted, I am a hillbilly, so take that into account. But if I were a Wall Street brokerage or if I were looking to tokenize Wall Street, right? Why not learn about how Ondo is planning to do this and hire your own engineers and do it yourself, right? So that was where the mindset shift for me happened. I was like, wait a minute. Ondo has all this bullish news, but it can't break this dollar zone. They're talking Paul Atkins given the go ahead. He left Securitize to run the SEC. And I was like, if I were in charge of tokenizing Wall Street, I would learn how Ondo was operating and then hire engineering teams and infrastructure to do it myself. And maybe I'm a jerk for thinking that way, but I kind of feel like the powers that be that run Wall Street are jerks as well. So takes one to know one. Let's see here. Let's go check out the CME gap and see what we're looking at here. So we are at 92.27 on the CME futures right now. Things are looking dicier than F. Things are looking wild. Things are looking wet. And Bitcoin dominance still actually looking kind of weak. Bitcoin dominance on the weekly now trying to print that red gap or that red candle. Does Josh still sell used iPhones out of his Apple kiosk in the Atlanta Mall? Okay, sir. Sir,
You are banned!
no need for salt in the wound. No need for salt in the wound. Patton McCrotch, where are you at? Hold on. I'm going to get him. I'm going to get him. But you know what? I know what I just said about Ondo is kind of a jerk thing to say, but I think that the powers that run Wall Street are kind of jerks too. And we have to use discernment when we talk about tokenizing Wall Street, tokenizing the internet, tokenizing everything. Yeah, I think it is a thing that's eventually going to happen, but the power structures are going to make sure that they have control of the situation. That's what I think. And that is why Canton makes more sense to me than a private company. I think Canton, with its, obscuring transactions, it doesn't need 1,000, 2,000 transactions per second. They're doing like 7 transactions per second. They're doing like hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars of movements on there. So, you don't really need all the nerd metrics for these things to end up playing out and absorbing a lot of liquidity. Now, ICP, I'm going to give it an honorary nod. Let's see here. It's actually trying to bounce. Okay. ICP, I see you. Okay. I see you, ICP. I think that, all right, fine. You know what? Because I don't think that it's going to take over the internet, but I do make money off this chart. I do make money off this chart only by selectively buying and jeeting it all. So let's go over here to ICP. If I see a green dot on the weekly, I'm in. I will say that right now. Let's see what we got. Weekly green dot, but the VWAP coming down. Fine. Not bad. Bottom of the range at $4.50. I'll snag a bag of $4.50. How about that? How about that? Because even vaporware can pump when the market turns around. Even vaporware can pump. All right. Well, I think there's a lot of fear. There's enough fear to go around. I'm not that way. I'm not that way. I will show you why on the overall Bitcoin chart. Because we talk about massive institutions and all this disgusting amount of liquidity coming in. If this money flow wave ends up being all we get out of this market, and it's much smaller than the previous market, the previous bull market, I will be absolutely shocked. Really what I think this is, these front end little bubble and pumps that we've experienced on the money flow so far are likely, in my mind, a similar situation to the bubbling pumps of 2020 leading to the 2021 blow off top. I do think this market's actually going to drag us into 2021. It's going to be very painful because many people are not going to be there for the real fun. That is the aggravating part of this, is that I feel like a lot of people are going to be selling their bags. They're going to be giving up just at the worst time possible. Kelly, it's a crazy time. We're on a knife's edge. What are your thoughts in general? Because I don't want to feed the fear. I'm not sorry to give my thesis on Ondo, right? Am I nuts for thinking that? Like, is there a chance for Ondo, Kelly? Are you still in Ondo?
I'm not still in Ondo. I think Ondo's still going to perform when the alt market does start seeing a big amount of capital come in. It is positioned uniquely in that they do have a number of incredibly integrated major corporate players that are involved with them in partnerships. And so I do think there's going to be capital that flows there. But, I started speaking about this like in August or maybe even before that sector of the market was getting crowded with Ondo and Injective and Avalanche and Solana. And basically every L1 out there realistically could tokenize real world assets, and some of them already were doing it. So I think Ondo is still going to perform well, but I don't think it's we're going to get $17 Ondo this cycle. I think if you target somewhere in the $3 to $5 range, I think that'd be pretty more realistic.
Absolutely. And you know what? I'm going to have some fun here. I'm going to go to ICP. I'm going to go to ICP website. Let's see. I want to find, I remember I was looking at this cycles burn. I want to find the canister burning. I know they've rolled out all this like caffeine stuff and all this. Really what I'm looking for is the canister burns. Where is the canister burn information? ICP canister burn. Because if I see a bunch of canisters being burned and a lot of development action happening, that's actually kind of my my best metric for if this thing is really, really running hard. So I'm doing some background. You guys are getting live you're getting live investigations. You're getting live investigations in ICP here. Everything that they do is just such nerd shit. Where's your canisters? Make it simple on me. Right here, they're at. Let's go here. We're digging into the guts. We're gutting it right.
I think
now.
I found it.
Did you? Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Power consumption. Canister smart contracts. Here we go. Okay. Hold on. Wait a minute. Something might be going right. Not bad. Not bad. Canisters are being burned. This is a deflationary mechanism here. It's when development's happening, people start actually building on this thing. They have to use, they burn the canisters, right? Okay. All right. All right, ICP. Whoop, whoop. I see you. Okay. I see you. I've made money off this thing before. USDT is breaking the F out. That's a bad sign. Bitcoin continuing to slide down the scales. Let's see here. Where are we at? We're at 91,718 on the spot price right now. And people are going to lose their minds. Okay. I can't even ban that because did you write that, Kelly? Was that
What?
you?
What?
Oh my God.
Isaac was filling the gap. And I said, well, listen, he's at boot camp, so I hope he's not filling the gap.
Oh God. I miss Isaac. I miss him a lot, had a nightmare that he went woke, but I know that was just a nightmare. He's out there in the military making things happen. So we're at 91.6 right now. People will say it's over. Really, my line in the sand is that $88,000 mark. I'm watching out heavily for that. It's what is this? Is it showing fully filled? Not yet.
Remember, everybody, look at the price, 91.9, and look at the exchanges, 91.5. There's a slight difference. For those of you that keep saying the gap is filled, no, because the price goes lower than you need to see on the CME futures, but it goes that on spot. That it has to do it on the CME futures in order for it to be a filled gap.
Mm-hmm. And that's important to note. So I understand things are scary out there. I'm a little crazy, and actually, I can't believe I'm considering buying ICP. I cannot believe I'm considering buying ICP right now. But you know what? This is how I do it. I bought ICP at $3 last time. Everyone was sure it was dead. Even vaporware can pump, and it's not necessarily vaporware. It's just not utilizing, is trying to usurp the entire internet by putting everything on Web3, which I don't think is going to happen in the short term either. But there is money to be made. There is money to be made on it. So Bitcoin gone back to early 2025. Call more. I want to see what the chat says. Look at BTC1 for the gap. Yep. I want to know from you guys.
But you know where we did hit.
What's that?
And I mean, remember jokingly, I talked about the SSRI level. We literally perfectly filled out the SS right now. We're close to R. I did not mean that. As I said it, I was like, this is for depression medication. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we're definitely in the thick of it.
Mhm.
We're definitely,
Mhm.
oh, Solana back to 130, Link back to
Yes.
30. Look at where Link is, guys. Link is coming right into that red box we had drawn for months, and this
Mm.
rising level multi-year support trend line that it just keeps bouncing on. Boom, boom. I mean, boom. I mean, it just keeps bouncing on this level. So it's gonna suck if this drops down. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, it's really, is it gonna suck? I see someone Link is horseshit. It's literally systemically important for information to keep flowing through crypto. So Link at cheaper prices, I'm fine with. I love the chat. Well, shit, now I have to be friendly to my boss. Oh, it's going down. Explain that again, Kelly. Just need a tweet from the orange one. Please, for the love of God. DCA and pray. You one player hater of the week last week. Are you really going for 2 in a row here? Unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, Chainlink, if I see $10 Chainlink, I'll buy more. But I've
to
rarely
be
buy Chainlink.
wait. To be fair though, for DCA and pray, to be fair, let me see. I did this tweet yesterday because this is what we're feeling like right now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And look at what this is attached to. Trump
Mm.
signs a bill permitting tariffs as high as 500% on nations trading with Russia. It's like, can we get some regularity here, man?
Let's see here. What would be a good exit point for Ondo? I mean, $1
4
is what
months
I,
ago.
but like, that was a couple months ago, man. And that was the same time, like people were mad at me and like thinking I was an asshole or an idiot that time too. Let's see here. That's how it goes, man. Let's look at Ondo, see if we can find an escape plan, an escape hatch. Let's see here. I mean, you're going to run into resistance of 77, 80 cents heavy. You're going to run into a lot, even with Spice coming back to it. You are going to run into some problems here at 80 cents. You're going to see a lot of exits at that point. So I'd say 80 cents, 75 cents is that first turbulent zone. If we can see that thing turn around, I really kind of doubt that this market's just going straight to zero, though. I really, really do. So this is a time frame you must examine your own crypto conviction. Are you in crypto? Are you in your projects because you think that they just have a chance to hit all-time highs? Or are you actually involved in the ecosystem and you think that the ecosystem is going to continue to grow and actually be used? These are things that you must examine. We are going into the great unknown. This is the time frame over the next month where we're going to see if the 4-year cycle holds true and these alts continue to fall. We think that they've fallen hard so far. If the 4-year cycle does roll over, they are going to be full on deported back to levels
That's
that
for
would only.
James Maloney. Yeah, so we
Oh,
can ban him for the day. You know what, sir?
yeah.
You're deported.
Absolutely.
You are banned!
Soon when I'm out of full YouTube like jail, James Mulroney is a fraud. Is that a crypto guy or something? I wonder. I'll be able to use the actual deported button. So I'm very much so looking forward to the true and tried actual deport button being available to me. I got to behave for maybe a week or two more. So I love you guys. Please take a breath. I know things are scary. I know that the charts are terrifying to everybody out there, but if I do get confirmation that this is a full-on bear market beginning, then guess what? I get to flip my thesis short the market, earn more tether, and buy cheaper Bitcoin all along the path down to those levels. From where I sit right now, I have not been shown that to be the case. We are indeed filling the $92,000 CME gap as we speak. This is a gap that a price action that was very feared. We're here. You're still alive. The sun is still shining. And a lot of these projects actually that I've been focusing in on have been really like I bought Morpho at 87 cents. I told everyone here on a public platform I was backing the truck up on a deep altcoin when we hadn't even had an alt season or any hope of it come up at 87 cents. It's crashed down to $1.80. Am I sad? No. I've also taken profits all along the way on Aerodrome each time it's peaked above $2. And a lot of what I have is house money and adding in to Aerodrome if we hit 50 cents. And I might take an insane swing at the insane clown posse ICP because the canisters are starting to actually be burned again. So outside of price, outside of the emotions, you must take data in analyze it for yourself, and make the best decision. It's been an absolute fight so far this alt season, which makes me really happy that we've focused in on projects that are still very, very much up and into the green, and they are revenue generating projects. I will be watching out for Aerodrome and what they come out with. And I think more people need to understand what Coinbase is doing with the base ecosystem. Kelly, I think it's going to be okay, buddy. Okay. I really, really do.
I want to share this before we go too.
Yeah.
This is everything in life. Everything in life. Your excuses are more creative than your solutions. You can explain why you can't in 47 different ways, but you can't find one way that you can. You're not stuck. You're committed to your limitations. There's a difference.
I love it. Those are some good words. I love and appreciate every single one of you. Take a breath. Don't get deported. If you are here illegal, just go home on your own accord. We love you, and we'll see you on the next episode.
We just wanted to take a quick second to shout out our sponsor, Arculus. They are a cold storage hardware wallet, helps you secure all of your digital assets for the future. Just tap this thing to the back of your phone and boom, you're in. We wouldn't be able to do this without them, but also wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, the Disco fam. You've supported us a lot over the years. If you want to support the channel now, just use the code DC20. It gets you 20% off this card. It's the #1 way you can support this channel going forward. Thank you for your support. We'll see you at the top.